Welcome back to Longevity Talk, and please consider subscribing to our channel. Today we dive into a different topic, cryonics. We often gaze up at the stars, contemplating our place in the vast cosmic theater and the finite nature of our own existence. We ponder the beginning of the universe, the birth of stars, the potential for life on other worlds. But what if we could extend our own timeline, not just by a few years, but by centuries? What if we could hit the pause button on our biology, waiting for a future where science has conquered the very things that end our lives today? This isn't a plot from a Hollywood blockbuster, but a real-world scientific endeavor known as cryonics. It's a subject that lives at the fascinating and often controversial at the intersection of biology, ethics, and audacious hope. Today, we're going to embark on a journey into the world of the ultra-cold. We'll explore the science, the dreams, and the profound questions that surround the practice of preserving a human body at temperatures colder than an Antarctic winter. Is it a legitimate shot at a second life? A bridge to a far-flung future of unimaginable technological advancement? Or is it merely a modern form of mummification, a costly final wish rooted more in faith than in feasible science? The very idea challenges our fundamental definitions of life and death. It forces us to confront the limits of what we know and what we believe is possible, which is exactly the kind of exploration we love to undertake. So, what exactly is cryonics? Let's strip away the science fiction tropes, spaceships, laser guns. At its core, cryonics is preserving a legally deceased person at extremely low temperatures, typically using liquid nitrogen. The goal isn't to make a human popsicle. It's to halt decay at a cellular level, preserve the body's structure, and most importantly, the brain's structure. It's a bet on the future, that medicine will be able to reverse the cause of death, repair freezing damage, and revive the person. Cryonics is not freezing someone who's alive. That's suspended animation. Procedures start only after legal and medical death. Proponents say legal death, information theoretic death. Info theoretic death =, brain structure so scrambled no memory or personality info remains. Cryonics aims to preserve that biological information before it's lost. Think of a crashed computer. Screen black, don't throw it away. Hardware might be broken, but the hard drive data could be intact. You'd take it to a specialist to recover files. Cryonicists see the body similarly. Heart stops and breathing ceases. Legal death. They see a system failure. The information, the software of the self, may still be encoded in the brain. Cryopreservation aims to save that hard drive for future repair. Not the same as putting a steak in a freezer that causes ice crystal damage. Just freezing a body would cause immense damage. Water inside the cells would form sharp ice crystals, which would puncture cell membranes and turn delicate tissues into mush upon thawing. Instead, cryonics employs a process called vitrification. This involves replacing the water in the body with a cryoprotectant solution, essentially a medical-grade antifreeze. This solution allows the body to be cooled to a glass-like amorphous state without the formation of damaging ice crystals. Why would anyone choose this path? The motivation is rooted in a profound and optimistic belief in the arc of technological progress. Look back 100 years. A simple bacterial infection could be a death sentence. Heart attacks were almost invariably fatal. Today we have antibiotics. Today we have defibrillators. Today we have CPR. Today we have organ transplants. Technologies that would have seemed like pure magic to our great-grandparents. People who opt for cryonics are extrapolating this trend forward. They are looking at the exponential growth, nanotechnology, biotechnology, artificial intelligence, betting that the solutions to today's fatal conditions are just a matter of time. They see a future where medicine is practiced at the molecular level. The dream is not just about cheating death. It's about experiencing a future that is unimaginable to us today. Imagine waking up in a world where disease has been conquered. Imagine waking up in a world where aging has been conquered. Imagine waking up in a world where scarcity has been conquered. It's a chance to witness the next chapters of the human story. To see if we travel to the stars, to meet other life forms, to unlock the deepest secrets of the universe. For many, this isn't just about personal survival, it's about an insatiable curiosity. They are explorers who want to see what lies over the next great horizon. The process of cryopreservation is a race against time, a meticulously choreographed procedure. That must begin as close to the moment of legal death as possible. As soon as a patient is legally pronounced dead, a standby team springs into action. Their immediate goal is to prevent brain degradation due to lack of oxygen. They administer medications to prevent blood clotting, and medications to protect the brain. They begin cooling the body, using an ice bath, using cooling blankets. This initial phase is crucial because every minute that passes, cellular structures are breaking down. The information cryonics seeks to preserve is being lost. The second step is the surgical procedure, typically at the cryonics facility. The patient's blood is replaced with a cryoprotectant solution. Surgeons access the major blood vessels, circulate a series of fluids through the vascular system. Initial fluids wash out the blood. Subsequent solutions introduce vitrification agents in increasing concentrations. This is a delicate process. The goal is to perfuse every organ and tissue with enough cryoprotectant to prevent ice crystal formation, for neuropreservation, preserving only the head. The procedure focuses on the brain, seen as the seat of identity. Once perfusion is complete, the third stage begins, deep cooling. The patient, now filled with medical-grade antifreeze, is cooled carefully over several days. Temperature is lowered slowly and controllably, often inside a specialized cooling box, using nitrogen gas, until it reaches approximately -130 degrees Celsius. This is the glass transition temperature. The final step is long-term storage in dewars at -196 degrees Celsius, where metabolic activity effectively stops. The practice of cryonics navigates a sea of complex, legal challenges, ethical challenges, much like a ship trying to avoid massive icebergs. The first major hurdle is the legal definition of death. Cryonics can only begin after a person is legally dead, yet the premise is that they may be revived. This creates a paradox. Legally, the cryopreserved individual is a deceased person. Their estate can be settled, their will executed. To the cryonics organization and family, they are a patient in long-term care. What if revival became possible, legally resurrected? What rights? The law has no answers yet. Then there's the ethical question of informed consent and potential exploitation. Signing up is a major financial commitment, often hundreds of thousands, usually via life insurance. Critics fear exploitation of vulnerable, especially terminally ill patients. Rational choice or expensive lottery. Organizations must make clear cryonics is speculative and not guaranteed. Hope versus false hope. Dangerously thin line. While, the hope is grand, the scientific challenges, the medical challenges are truly monumental. The first hurdle is the damage caused by the preservation process itself. Vitrification aims to stop large ice crystals, but it's not perfect. Cryoprotectant chemicals can be toxic at high concentrations. Extreme cooling and rewarming cause thermal stress, which can lead to tissue fractures. Preserving a large complex organ like the human brain remains unsolved. Cellular damage, molecular damage. Reversing this damage is a prerequisite for revival. Secondly, the original cause of death is a problem. Many cryopreserved people died of cancer, heart disease, neurodegenerative disorders. Revival would require reanimating the body and curing the underlying pathology. That likely needs technology beyond our imagining. Fleets of molecular nanobots repairing cellular damage, reversing disease, regenerating tissue at scale. Not just a cure for cancer, a cure for everything that went wrong. The third challenge, reviving the brain and restoring consciousness. The story of cryonics is not just one of abstract science. It's a story of real people and the organizations they built. Robert Ettinger is often called the movement's intellectual father, a college physics teacher. In 1962, he published The Prospect of Immortality. It argued that medical death is a relative state and that future technology could reverse it. His book inspired a generation and spawned the first cryonic societies. Ettinger was himself cryopreserved in 2011 at the Cryonics Institute, which he founded. Dr. James Bedford was the first person cryopreserved, after dying of kidney cancer in 1967. His preservation was pioneering and chaotic, lacking modern vitrification. Today the field is led by organizations like Alcor in Arizona and the Cryonics Institute in Michigan. The debate over cryonics is, honestly, a classic clash between pioneering optimism and mainstream scientific skepticism. On one side, proponents argue dismissing cryonics is short-sighted. They point to the history of science, examples like aviation organ transplants. Their argument is probabilistic. Revival isn't guaranteed, but not trying guarantees failure. Many mainstream scientists and doctors remain deeply skeptical. Their skepticism comes from a sober read of immense obstacles. Neuroscientists note the brain's complexity is profound and even minor synaptic damage could erase a person's mind. They question whether current vitrification truly preserves delicate architecture. To them, rebooting consciousness from a frozen, damaged brain is an extraordinary claim without extraordinary evidence. It's seen as a leap of faith, not science. Ultimately, it comes down to burden of proof. It's a debate between the demonstrable present and the possible future. So, we come to the end of our journey, standing at the edge. This frozen frontier, we've explored the science, the hopes, and the profound challenges of cryonics. It's a field that forces us to ask some of the biggest questions imaginable. Would you freeze yourself for the future? The answer isn't a simple yes or no. It requires a personal calculation. Hope versus reality. Faith in future progress versus the sober assessment of current scientific limitations. It's a choice that reflects one's own philosophy on life, death, and the relentless forward march of technology. It is, in every sense, a cosmic question about our individual place in the timeline of the universe. The future of cryonics itself is uncertain. Will it one day become a mainstream medical procedure, a standard option offered at the end of life? Or will it remain a niche practice, a curious footnote in the history of humanity's quest for immortality? The answer depends entirely on future breakthroughs. Only time will tell. The universe is full of wonders, and perhaps the greatest one is the future we have yet to create.